G'day there guys, if anything comes back this year, I just want Backstreet back, alright? Welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. It's your host Markee. I hope you enjoyed today's content. If you do, smash that like button, tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below, sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on that Barbie, and have a bloody good day. Thank you. Posted by user NegativeWar2512, titled, Am I the a-hole for exposing my cousin's boyfriend as a fake Navy SEAL? I served in SWCC, Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman. We operate small patrol boats, and we work with SEALs, usually the people getting the SEALs in and out of places. Our training is quite similar to theirs, and when I heard that my cousin was getting married to a SEAL, and when I heard about him, I knew he was a phony. The stories that were relayed back to me, and the crap I've seen from his post was just bullcrap. I also heard that my nephew did more pull-ups than him, 5, so I know that's horse crap. There is no Navy SEAL who can only do 5 pull-ups. Bare minimum is like 10 or 15 to even get into basic training. I never got to meet this guy, and I think he was actually avoiding me because whenever I showed up, he always left. I told everyone in the family my concerns. Most just ignored me, saying I misinterpreted what happened. I'm not a SEAL, so I wouldn't know. These ignoramuses were just so stubborn. Well, I knew the only way to expose this effer is to get outside help. So I contacted Don Shipley, who's a former Navy SEAL, and he has a bunch of social media accounts and websites where he posts content of him exposing hundreds, if not thousands of fake Navy SEALs, either by approaching them or calling them and blasting them online. Anyone who suspects someone of being a fake SEAL can submit their info to Don Shipley. He will contact you back with proof of him being or not being a SEAL, as he has a record to a database of every Navy SEAL. Shipley not only sends proof of him not being a SEAL, he also calls my cousin and he asks my cousin about his service. He calls him out on everything about how none of this service makes sense, the main one being he said he was in SEAL Class 111, which would have been like 40 years ago or something. I then sent this to everyone who was attending the wedding in a mass email chain. I was in one that had like 400 email addresses for the upcoming wedding attendees, as well as everyone on his Facebook and IG friends list. I have gotten so much hate from him and his family for this, and my cousin is devastated knowing this man is a fraud and a liar. So is everyone else who grew to like him. Everyone seems to hate me. I don't see why. I did them all a favor. I guess it's a question of whether the means justifies the ends. I get that stolen valor is a very big deal in the States, as it is in a lot of countries, and especially impersonating a SEAL, something that's very hard to get into, would offend people that actually went and achieved that. But again, does the means justify the ends? And I think this is one of the only ways to get that ends. Seems a bit drastic and you've gotten a reaction from everyone. Maybe you didn't go about it in the nicest way possible, and that's why people hate you. I would guess you were either a bit more aggressive in this, or you're not telling us the full story. And that makes me believe that everyone sucks here in this situation. Everyone sucks here. Not an a-hole for exposing him, but kind of an a-hole for doing it in such a dramatic manner. Maybe you could have shared the proof with the bride and her family, but not to all the 400 guests. As it said, one shouldn't wash their dirty linen in public. The matter could have been solved in a more peaceful and less insulting manner if it was done privately. Edit: to everyone who is saying that the guy deserved being exposed in front of 400 people, ask this to yourself. Did that OP's cousin deserve being humiliated by her cousin in front of 400 people? Yes, she didn't listen to him, but she obviously loved the fake SEAL, and he had manipulated her into marrying him. But such a harsh punishment when she's already going through a heartbreak? Seems heartless. Also, regarding him going and conning other people, they could have exposed him publicly after his cousins knew about it. In fact, she could have been the one exposing him. It's fine to expose the fake SEAL, but not caring for his cousin makes him an a-hole too. That's my answer too. I am the daughter of a decorated United States Marine, so there is little more abhorrent to me than someone trying to claim military honors that they have no right to claim. But the method of delivery was a bit a-hole-ish. Everyone sucks here. You should have told your cousin once you had the proof and let it work itself out. Exposing him to 400 people and hunting out all his social media contacts to expose him is extremely petty. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you were wrong for getting the info and exposing him, but I don't think you were the person that should have publicly humiliated him and, indirectly, your cousin, since they were going to marry. And for calling the rest of the family ignoramuses. Everyone sucks here. I think that was more for saying OP wouldn't know what he was talking about, and refusing to look into the facts that there is no way a Navy SEAL would be outdone by a child in a pull-up competition unless they were injured. Posted by user MundaneLeopard56, titled, Am I the a-hole for letting my daughter get a piercing because her stepmother said no? My daughter, 15 female, came home after spending a weekend with her father, and she expressed that she really wanted a nose piercing, but her stepmother said no because she's too young and her dad agreed. I was angry hearing this because that is a discussion that her actual parents, her father and I, should have together. I'm not sure why her stepmom would try and make that decision when she has no right to have any input. Yesterday, I took her to a piercing shop and let her get the piercing without informing her father. So now he and his wife are unhappy with me and are calling me childish. But I simply don't want some random woman to try and act like my daughter's mother. Am I the a-hole? I don't get why a nose piercing is so taboo. Just close your eyes, stop looking at it. I think the wrongdoing in this situation here is that OP went ahead and got the piercing done without permission of the other, side that should have had a say in this decision. But then I guess it's not their body and, it's not something that's life-altering, life-changing. Oh my god, someone send her straight to hell, she got a piercing in her nose. This is just a petty dispute. You guys need to handle things more like adults and less like children that don't want to talk to each other. Everyone sucks here. Everyone sucks here. If you think this is a decision you and her father should make together, then that's what you should have done. Everyone sucks here, but more you than them. They should have said, no, we need to discuss this with your mum first. You should have discussed it with her dad first. And most importantly, you should have made your decision based on what is best for your daughter. She's more important than getting back at the stepmother. And getting the piercing destroyed the daughter's life? It's not like she got a face tattoo. No, but OP didn't put any thought into it other than spite. Instead of acting like an adult and talking about it, they let their daughter go get a piercing just to spite their ex's spouse, which falls firmly into a-hole territory. You're the a-hole. You did exactly the same thing they did. I hope all of your daughter's parents learn to communicate properly instead of playing petty games. They're still a-holes too, though. Neither side talk to each other about it. Everyone sucks here. She's way more of an a-hole than they are. They said no because she's too young. She just allowed it because she's basically being petty. Everyone sucks here? That was spiteful and immature. What happened to the parents discussing this that you supposedly cared about so much? Bad example for your kids. The lack of discussion is on the dad, though. It was brought up on his time and he failed to communicate with OP about it at all. He let his wife call the shot, then didn't bother to speak to OP about it, which is wrong. Why should OP reach out when he doesn't give a crap? Because she agrees it's a joint decision, and her response had a much greater impact, literally, than the dad's no? If it was a tattoo, I'd agree with you, but a piercing that can be taken out and close up, not so much. The world won't end if OP asks the daughter to take it out later on and admits her fault in it. I agree piercings can just close over and are different from a tattoo. though that does assume that the daughter appropriately cares for the piercing and doesn't end up with an infection. Asking her to take it out and let it close will just make the daughter upset and mad at mum. So, everyone sucks here, or you're the a-hole, are appropriate ratings here. Everyone sucks here because dad should have talked to mum before saying yes or no. Everyone sucks here, you're the a-hole, because the OP similarly made a unilateral decision, was motivated by pettiness, and her decision ended with the actual physical change. Posted by user FanConfident4969. Titled, Am I the a-hole for leaving my family's Thanksgiving over seating? My sister and I are a bit estranged ever since she married up and had his kids. Our mother asked me if I wanted to do Thanksgiving at my sister's house. My mum said my sister wanted me to come, and I've only met my sister's kids a few times. Plus, I could see my other nephews from my other sister. I agreed. There were 3 tables, 1 for the kids and 2 for the adults. My sister had me sit with the kids. They range from age 5 to 11. I asked my sister if she was joking, and she said she ran out of space, plus I could spend time with my niece and nephews. I told her I'm not Uncle Babysitter, and wasn't going to sit at the kids' table, and left. My sister is mad at me. Edit. Also, there were 2 teenagers that sat at the adult table. I guess she kinda sucks for not making space for you at the bigger table. I'm sure you could just pull up a chair and have it be a little bit crowded, there's nothing wrong with that. But you're estranged, and you didn't want to be there in the first place. I can't particularly blame you for not wanting to go there, but you're already at the house and you're just walking out. That gives a bad impression of you. I'm sure you could suck it up and be the cool uncle that chats with the kids. You don't particularly have to be a babysitter in this situation. Either way, you guys handled this poorly, and I'm going to give you an everyone sucks here for this. Everyone sucks here for hosting and attending a Thanksgiving dinner in a pandemic. I hope nobody gets sick or dies because of you. I mean, they all suck for this, but he's not the a-hole for what he's asking about. In no way does everyone suck here. OP did nothing wrong, and was well within the rights of courtesy to demand a seat at the adult table when there were literal kids given seats there. Uncle Babysitter was also the right response. Not the a-hole OP, and you should have sat yourself in your sister's chair. She could have taken the kids' table, but I'd bet you that room would have miraculously appeared. Posted by user I Love Blankets. Titled, Am I the a-hole for forcing my sister to move out of her bedroom? 16 male here with a 24 female sister. Growing up, she has always had a large big room with a king-size bed, plenty of wardrobe space, ensuite, etc. My room is tiny and can barely fit all my belongings in it. It's not ideal, but that's just the way the house was built, and there wasn't anything I could ever do about it. Since January, my sister has started to spend an increased amount of time at her boyfriend's house. It started off once a week, then every weekend, and now it's to the point she won't come back for over a week at a time. When she does, it'll be for just a night, and then she'll go back to her boyfriend's for another week. I don't think it's fair her big room sits empty for weeks at a time while I live at home permanently and have a crowded, cramped room. I've spoken to my parents who both agree with me in private that since she's never home, we should be able to swap rooms. The problem is that my sister, although 24 years in age, has all the mental maturity of a hormonal 14-year-old. When we told her about it, she started throwing a temper tantrum and crying before threatening to move out. She basically already is, but whatever, and never see any of us again. My parents have never been able to deal with her, and they immediately backed down and begged for her forgiveness. I don't think it's fair, and I told her next time she's gone, I'm going to move everything anyway. Am I the a-hole for making her move rooms? I don't think so. In this situation, I feel like she's not there, she's not using it, and look, she's throwing a bloody tantrum, not dealing with it like an adult. I guess it doesn't make it right to quote-unquote steal the room from her, but if you're not going to use it, you're going to lose it, aren't you? I'd understand if she was paying money and she owned this room, but there's people that need this space that are going to use it more productively than you, and you're never in the house anyway. I'd say not the a-hole because I would probably do the same thing myself, so there's my judgment. Everyone sucks here. I get that your room is small and cramped. I never really had any large rooms till my last 3 years of high school, and then moved into a small room again. You shouldn't expect something just because you think it isn't fair. It's her room and her space, and as an adult, she's allowed to come and go from the house as she pleases. She sucks for throwing a tantrum, and not at least for trying to see your viewpoint. However, it's her space, and she has no obligation to give it to you. Your parents suck for having absolutely no backbone and no ability to mediate between their children. If there is any, find someone else in the house to set up, like FR basement, a spare bedroom, etc. If not, suck it up and do some reorganizing. I moved everything from my big bedroom into a small bedroom and was able to buy different furniture. It's all about organization and making the most of your space. Edit. A lot of people are saying how when they were the oldest sibling, they still had their room till they moved out and gave it on to the youngest. Yeah, dude. Me too. She hasn't moved out yet. She still lives there, though she spends most of her time with her boyfriend. You were not disproving anything. OP wouldn't be the a-hole if he was trying to move spaces after she had moved out, but at this point in time, she is not. I said everyone sucked because all of them are handling this situation poorly, which I already stated my reasons for in the comments. But here's the crux of it. It's not her room to come and go as she pleases. It's the room her parents designated as hers in their house. If she spends any time in it, her parents have every right to switch her room with her brother, who lives there 24/7. The only a-hole here would be the parents for backing down from making the switch. Edit. I'm also not saying to kick the sister out. Just switch the rooms so that the brother who lives there 24/7 can get full use of the larger space. For the limited time that she is there, she can deal with the smaller room. Not the a-hole. It's absolutely fair that the adult woman, who is rarely at home, should give up her room to you in this circumstance. Exactly this. If you don't use it, lose it. We had a similar rule when I was growing up with my sister and I. If you requested something from grocery shopping and you didn't eat it, it was fair game. My sister always never ate her thing, then gets pissed at me for eating it. I told her, hey, you didn't eat it, you lose out. She always said, but I was gonna. Well, you didn't. Posted by user Nan's Treasure. Titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to forgive my parents over something they lied about over 10 years ago? When I was a young girl, I used to spend a lot of time with my nan. She had a big collection of jewelry that I would beg to see. So each time I came over, we would sit down at her vanity and she would show me each piece. There was one bracelet that stood out to me. It was gold with red stones on it, and I used to believe that my nan had to be a magical queen because a bracelet like that would obviously contain powers. She died when I was 8 years old. My mother brought back her jewelry box, and I pleaded to keep that bracelet. Neither parent thought that it would be worth more than its weight because a lot of her jewelry was just cheap accessories, so they let me keep it. Fast forward a couple of years. My mum and my dad went to a wedding of my mum's cousins, where her aunt gave her a photo book with old family pictures of my nan as a girl with her family. In one of the pictures is my great-nana when she was 20s, wearing that bracelet, which spiked their interest. So, they went and got it looked at, and it turns out that it was pricey. They never told me the amount. They sat me down when they got back and said because it was worth so much, it was too risky for me to wear, and promised when I was an adult I can have it back. I got one last look at it, and it was gone. Obviously, I was very sad, but I never forgotten. I asked when I was 18, and they told me to wait until I'm 21. I asked last week, and they finally admitted they sold it that same week that I last saw it. but they said the money went on our trip to Disney World. That bracelet is one of the only memories I have with Nan, and it is gone. I don't want to forgive them. Would that make me the a-hole? This is one of those hard situations where, I don't blame you for either choice that you make. I don't think you would be the a-hole if you forgive them, because, forgiveness is sometimes the only way you move on from people that have slighted you. I mean, you would not also be an a-hole if you didn't forgive them, and you could demand that money back or demand retribution in however way you see fit. I think you would be justified in either situation. It's not wrong to do this to a child, and just because you see money there does not mean that you should do it. And then who knows if you're going to trust them, the money went to a trip to Disney World. I don't feel like Disney World trips are that expensive. I'm going to put this bracelet in the ballpark figure of 20 to 30 grand. I do not think it costs that much money to go to Disney World, or else no one would be going there. They're just trying to pull the wool over your eyes, OP, and I wouldn't let them do it. No matter your choice, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. What they've done is absolutely appalling. It's a bit early to say that you'll never forgive them. Never is a long time. But it's reasonable and understandable that you would be upset. You should take whatever time you need to grieve over this loss of connection. I know never is a long time, but I just feel like this is one of those things that I'll never get over, Thanks for your inputs. I'm not saying it won't be never, but I think it's more important to process how you're feeling now rather than think about how you might be feeling at some random point in the future. In some cases, saying I'm never gonna forgive them is part of the procedure of processing grief. Obviously, the mourner is free to change their mind at any given time in their life, but right now, they are feeling so upset that thinking about how they might be feeling at some point in the future is part of the process, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. They took it from you for the sole purpose of selling it. No doubt they assumed and hoped that you'd forget about it by the time you were 18, and when you asked them at 18, they still didn't come clean. It doesn't matter that the money went towards a trip to Disney World. That bracelet wasn't theirs to sell. I'm so sorry that happened. This, I could soften if it was needed for rent or mortgage in a time of despair, but Disney? That is just crap, especially the sentimental value you had about it. I'm not usually one to preach this, but I would have a real time forgiving this. And to be honest, it was a pretty meh trip. Yes, it was fun at times, but we had the bad luck at going during what felt like a heat wave. We're British, so the heat was so extra. My dad hates queues and anything with a long line that he wouldn't wait for, and I think the hotel ate up most of the budget. I've had camping trips to the seaside that were loads more fun than that. Alright, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. As always, I want to do a huge shout out to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You should be up on the screen now. I love you all, and I think every single one of you are amazing for supporting the channel in the way that you do. Again, thank you so much for supporting me. And again, if you did enjoy today's video, please do tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below. All of your hot takes, opinions, whatever you think, really, whatever's going on in your life right now, I'd love to hear down in the comments below. Before I leave, I'd also like to announce that I'm going to start doing meme content again on the second channel. I know it's been a while, so click on the Markee head on the screen without the Australian flag behind him if you want to go see some memes. And as always, guys, have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.